Now, there's one little trick that I like to do. Well, it's not really a trick, it's more of common sense really. Whenever you replace an element and a stat, or anything to be fair, even zone valves, pumps, all that sort of stuff, here's a little tip for you. Always do this. Immersion heater has gone down in this cylinder. Now, on paper, when the phone call comes through, it sounds like a fairly straightforward job. Immersion heater's played up. We're not going to change the stat because it's already had a stat changed in it, so we're going to change the whole lot. Take the immersion heater out, drain the cylinder, take the immersion heater out, change the whole lot. But what has sort of thrown me off a little bit with this one is, we've got this cylinder here. We've also got this cylinder here. So they are back to back. One runs downstairs and one runs upstairs, which is a little bit odd. The only thing I can think of being the reason there is two pressurised cylinders in one house, running one house, top floor, bottom floor, is the fact that because these are up in the eaves of the roof and it's been converted, they couldn't fit a bigger one in to supply two bathrooms and obviously everything else. So that's my thinking why there is two cylinders. But in good news, got a drain off here, hopefully that works, and a shower there. So with a bit of luck, we can run our hose straight off there to drain down, because we've got to whip that one out, and I've got a replacement one there. So sounds straightforward. I'm sure there'll be an issue. There usually is. If there isn't, brilliant. If there is, as always, this is real world plumbing. I'll show you what goes on. But yeah, one cylinder, two cylinders. Let me know in the comments why you think there would be two. Right, water off here. We'll open some taps, open some valves, get this one drained down. Right then, with the water off here, I've just been downstairs, opened the hot tap in the bathroom and the kitchen, drain the water down. But what we're going to do is open this and just drain down as much as we can, because obviously we've got to take out that immersion heater, so that will drain down through the taps. And then when we get that down, we can pop the hose on there and run it into the shower. Hopefully get as much water out of this as we can. So this is where we hope this drain off's going to open, but as you can see, it's not. I've just wound it all the way out. It's not going to come out, is it? Ah, that's a pain. Absolute pain. But as you can see, look, nothing, it's fully open, nothing coming out. So let me show you how to get over that, because obviously we've got to get this out. We know it's drained down to here, because that's now just about stop running. We just got to get this little bit of water out here. So then what I'm going to do is use this little device, which is just a pump that goes on the end of your drill. Pop that in the end. That goes on the end of the drill, and just attach the hose either end. And what I'm going to do is take this hot fitting off the top, poke my hose down. I can measure it out so we know we're down this sort of depth, and then just pop that on the end of the drill and pump it into the shower tray. That's the idea anyway. Let's give it a go.
A few moments later.
That was bloody tight. Anyway, got it off, so let's lift that out of the way, and then hopefully we can get our hose down there. Let's just have a little check. Hopefully. Might have to whip this off as well. Right, let's whip this bush off and see. That's probably why can't get through there. Hopefully now, the end of that hose should poke down. Yeah, there we go. Right then, let's cut a little bit of that hose off, get it poked down into that cylinder, get that drill on, and get pumping it out. Right, I reckon to there is going to be deep enough. So if we mark that, because at the minute the water's popping out, give it a go. Right then, with that cylinder now drained down, I think we're about to here. I can just disconnect the cable. We've got it off on the spur. We just pop the cap off, disconnect the element, and then we'll get the, where is it? Immersion heater spanner. That I've just had to go and buy this morning because I have got one in the van. Could I find it? No, I couldn't. It wasn't in the right place or the usual place that I keep it. So by the time I'd faffed around, it might be at the unit. Don't know. Anyway, ended up going and buying another one because I just needed to get this done. So let's disconnect this immersion heater and hopefully it should come out. They are pretty good actually because they are just a small thread and a little washer on the bottom like that. We shall see. Right, with that out, you can see actually a little bit of water on the bottom. Hopefully it should come out. Oh, there we go. Perfect. To be honest, I could have probably just pulled it out with my hand, but always put a little bit of rag underneath in case there's any water, and always go really careful getting it out because I think we're all right. Yeah. Look at that one. We'll have a good look over it in a minute, but we'll have a bit of a clean up around here, and then get the new one in. Now I'm not going to put any paste around this because we've got that rubber washer, so obviously it's got a new heating stat in there anyway. So if you're enjoying this video and the content that I make, do me a favour, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. We are so close to hitting 50,000 subscribers on the channel and I would massively appreciate it. If you're not subscribed and you like the content I put out, hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up and drop in the comments and let me know what you think. Let me know what other sort of videos you want me to make, what other sort of content you want me to put out there on the channel. So with that new immersion heater and stat now in place, before I connect it up, I'm going to turn the taps off downstairs, reconnect the hot on the top and get the water back onto it, just to check this is all right before we completely fill it and connect the power back into it. So because we've had this male line to copper out the top of the cylinder, I'm just going to remake it with a bit of thread tape, just to be sure. Then we can get it back in here. With that connected up, let's get the water back on. Make sure that's off. Let's get the water back on, pressurise it back up and see if it's all right. So with that tank filling up now, if we open this T&P valve, obviously as the water rises up, as soon as it gets to this point, it will start coming out and then we know we are above that new immersion and stat. So we know that that is all good. Looks okay at the minute. You can see off the front of it, look, that little charring, where obviously it's been getting hot. Here we go. So if we twist that, we've got water coming out that ton dish. So we know the water line is now to here. So if we lock that off, it will now begin to fill this bit, obviously the hot water pipe work. So while that's doing its thing, let's connect. Now we know that's all good, it's not leaking. Let's connect the power to it and we can give it a test. And then I've also just been having a look over the old stat, and you can see how knackered the immersion heater element is, and all in there. So it's obviously been tripping out or just playing havoc with it. Even inside there, it's all manky and horrible. But yeah, where we are over in Warwick, it's hard water, so it eats through anything, kettles, taps, immersion heaters. Right, let's get it connected and get the power back on. There we go, all done, dusted, power cable connected back up, tested, it's warming up. Now, there's one little trick that I like to do. Well, it's not really a trick, it's more a common sense really. Whenever you replace an element and a stat, or anything to be fair, even zone valves, pumps, all that sort of stuff, here's a little tip for you. Always do this. There you go, date it was replaced. It just lets you know how long that one's been in there. If you're not coming back to change it, it gives the next guy a bit of an insight into how long it's lasted. Plus the homeowner knows when it's been done then. So there you go. If you've enjoyed this, give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, get subscribed to the channel for a bit more real world plumbing. Right, I'm either going to finish now or we've got another little job coming next. Right then, I am going to take you into a new project that we are about to start on the channel, and it's been in the pipeline for probably about 12 months. Now, this unit here that I've just walked into is a fair old size. Now, next door is a restaurant that I've done loads of work for over the years, and in fact, let me just quickly take you outside and show you what it is. If you live anywhere in sort of like Warwick, Leamington, Warwickshire area, you will know this restaurant. Go and Brew in Warwick, pizza, beer, that sort of stuff. They've bought the unit, or at least they're leasing the unit next door, and they're cutting through this wall to make this a complete new, basically a mirror image of the restaurant next door. However, they need some toilets. So, long story short, we are putting 2 toilets in here, 2 back to the wall pans, hand basins, but they're going to go here behind what is going to be formed as a bar. And also, we're teeing into that next door via this, if I can find the light switch, I don't know where the light switch is, via this toilet here. So we've got a 4-inch stack running around there. We're going to cut through this wall there, take hot and cold through, take the waste through for the toilet and the little basin that's going to feed the bar. And we've also got to, hopefully, this whole kitchen is coming out, so it's going to be one complete room, and we're going to put some drainage in here, because people who have watched the channel for a very, very long time may remember this grease trap going in, this pipe work, this grease trap going in, because the wastes in this kitchen are all pumped up into the ceiling and across that stack due to just restraints when it first went in. So we're going to completely gut this and put new drainage in the floors all the way through here and into the drainage pipe work under there. So I just thought I would give you a quick overview of it before we start. I'm going to get here probably the next couple of days and begin doing this. The lad's got to cut a hole, basically moving that door to there. Once that's done, we can get in, pipe work, waste pipes, hot and cold pipes, ready for this new restaurant to go in. But I'll just pass in, so I thought I'd bring you in and show you what we've got to come.